Hey guys, and welcome to Open Table. We're so glad you're here with us today. We're going through the book of Psalms together, and I just want to encourage you, get involved in the conversation today. You're able to share your doubts and ask questions here. We want you to share open and honestly what you think and feel about God, about faith in the Bible. So again, we're so glad you're here. Let's get started. So again, we're continuing through the book of Psalms. Today we're going to be in Psalm 118, where we see the author puts his hope and his confidence in God, that it's rooted in who God is, and we can stand firm on that. But before we jump in, let's do an icebreaker question. So this week we're talking all about Psalm 118, and we're talking about hope. Have you ever put all your hope into something? Maybe that boyfriend or that girlfriend, or if you could just get that new phone, your whole world would change. Without even thinking about it, we put our hope in all sorts of things. Some silly, and some that aren't inherently bad. But we'll see in Psalms this week that the author's gonna put his hope into one thing. So let's take a look at it starting in verse 1. It reads, "Oh, give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. For his steadfast love endures forever. Let Israel say, his steadfast love endures forever. Let the house of Aaron say, his steadfast love endures forever. Let those who fear the Lord say, his steadfast love endures forever." We see that the author has a hope and a confidence in the love of God. And this is a theme that's woven throughout all of Psalms. We've been talking about God's love being faithful, something that we can stand on. But here we see it's the foundation that the author stands on. He's calling others to a hope that he has found, and he can't keep it to himself. All right, so let's move into some discussion now and talk about that. Question 1 is, have you ever been so consumed with something you couldn't help but talk about it? What happened? So we see that the love of God has consumed this author in Psalms. He has seen God's love see him through difficult times, and God has proven himself time and time again. He'll continue in Psalm 118, verse 5, where he says, "Out of my distress, I called on the Lord. The Lord answered me and set me free. The Lord is on my side, and I will not fear. What can man do to me? The Lord is on my side as my helper, and I shall look in triumph on those who hate me." If I'm honest, I struggle to have that much confidence in God's love. When he says, "What can man do to me?" that's really confident. He is so sure God's love will carry him through. God's love can be a hard thing to grasp. The fact that he would send his son to die in our place, that it's unchanging and it never falters. But that's why we're able to stand on it, because it doesn't change, because it's something that we can hold on to in the midst of struggle and pain and deep disappointment. My love isn't like that. My feelings easily get hurt and I can hold a grudge. I want people around me to feel some deep longing, but only God's love truly satisfies. Have you ever experienced God's love in that way? Have you tried to fill that with people or things in your life? Let's take a few minutes to talk about that. Question 2 is, why do you think it's hard for us to love people unconditionally? So the truth is, we can't afford to miss this, that the God of the universe, in his steadfast love, died for you and died for me. He took the punishment that we deserved. His steadfast love compelled him to pay the price that we could never pay. And maybe you're thinking, like, I don't buy it. Nothing in the world looks or feels that way. Nothing's free. You gotta earn everything that you can get. But think about it for a minute. You're most likely a teenager or about to be a teenager. You probably have clothes on your back. You've probably eaten food at some point today. And you probably have a house to go home to tonight where you'll sleep. You won't worry about what you'll eat or wear tomorrow. And all of this is probably not a result of you working a job, earning money, or paying for it. In the exact same way, God freely gives us the gift of love and salvation. We don't have to earn it. We can never earn it. I love how Ephesians 2:8 puts it this way. It says, "For by grace you have been saved through faith." And this is not your own doing. It's the gift of God, not a result of works, so that no one may boast. This is the good news of God, that we don't have to keep striving to earn His love. Romans actually says that while we were enemies of God, Christ died for us. And this should cause us to rejoice. Just like the author of Psalm 118, we should be in awe of the gift that God has given, His steadfast love. And it is this love that we can stand on and be confident in. This brings us to the main point this week, which is God's love is the anchor of my hope. Have you ever really thought about how much God loves you? How His love isn't conditional, how it never changes. Let's take a few minutes to talk about that. Question 3 is, have you ever struggled to accept God's love for yourself, and why? So I hope by looking at Psalm 118 that we've been able to see God's love as faithful, that it's something that we can stand on, that we can count on. Take some time before you leave to pray as a group, that God's love would become real to you this week. I hope our time has helped you think about how much God really loves you. Thanks for coming, and we'll see you next week.